All right, today we're going to be talking about a good old-fashioned mystery movie that takes place in the Ming Dynasty. So this is a good old-fashioned Chinese movie. And like I said, it's a mystery. So let's get into this. Apologize for using a lot of notes for this one, but hey, it is what it is. Today we're talking about, this is a very much a wired style movie. I can't pronounce it. Wuxia style, whatever type of movie with the wires. The characters perform exaggerated martial arts feats, flying through the air and, leaping across rooftops. Think of Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. All right, that kind of fighting and stuff. The movie follows Lady Detective Pei-yue, who investigates a mysterious murder in one of the outer regions of the Empire. The setup immediately caught my attention. Kind of like martial arts. I kind of do like the Crouching Tiger type of stuff and mysteries. And like I said, it feels very much like a Sherlock Holmes type of movie. Fei-yue, it has a female companion who serves as a sidekick, and together they attempt to unravel a larger mystery involving family secrets and hidden treasure. For the first portion of the movie, I was generally interested. The mystery is engaging. The setting is attractive. And some of the early action scenes are very well done. Visually, the movie has some impressive shots. There are moments where the cinematography is generally beautiful and several compositions stand out. That said, the production often feels overly slick and heavily dependent on CGI. Depending on when I release these videos. Right before I watched this movie, I watched Two Mules for Sister Sarah. They're out in the desert. You see sweat pouring down them. You can tell it's very hot. This movie, not same location, but same setting. They're out in the desert and no sweat whatsoever on these actors. So you kind of tell that they're not really in a desert. She still looks very pristine and pretty, but no sweat pouring down her. I guess Chinese people don't sweat, according to this movie. So in that way, it kind of feels, the movie kind of feels off, which it kind of tracks with how I don't really like the newer Chinese shows, because they're too like this. They're too slick, too much makeup, too pretty, not enough grit and stuff. Like the early one, I don't know, 10 or 15 years ago, Crouching Tiger, even Hidden Dragon is almost 30 years ago now, almost 30 years ago, about more like 25 years ago. They actually, were kind of realistic. People actually sweat and stuff, especially in the 90s. But now these modern day ones, they're very, I don't know, too shiny, I guess you could say. Anyways, as the film progresses, the story shifts from a straightforward murder mystery becomes more of a treasure hunting adventure. Fei-yue encounters her uncles and cousins, and together they explore underground caverns in search of hidden secrets. This leads to a surreal sequence in which several characters begin hallucinating. Her uncle and cousin become consumed by visions of wealth and ambition, while Fei-yue remains unaffected. She concludes that they are accessible because they are driven by dreams and desires, whereas she has none of those of dreams and desires of being wealthy. This is an interesting concept, or perhaps the most philosophical, intriguing idea of the film. There are action scenes scattered throughout the movie, but not as many as I expected. The early fighting choreography is quite enjoyable and fits within the wire fighting tradition. Unfortunately, the quality of action declines as the movie continues. It really does go downhill. By the final confrontation, which should have been the highlight, the fight feels surprisingly underwhelming. I kept waiting for a major showdown between Fei-yue and a memorable villain, but the climax never reaches the level of excitement the story seemed to promise. Overall impression, this is one of those movies that starts strong, but as the movie continues, it gets weaker and weaker. The opening is compelling. The lead character is interesting. Cinematography offers some beautiful moments. However, the plot becomes less engaging. The visual effects feel overly polished, and ending lacks the impact I was hoping for. will you enjoy this movie? If you like mysteries and treasure hunting, it's a good chance. Otherwise, I would probably bypass this one. You can watch this with caution. That would be my advice. But, watch maybe the first half an hour and then turn it off. Anyways, if you've seen this movie, The Lady Detective, Chattel, whatever. If you have, let me know. Let me know in the comments below. Until next time, adios.